In a global landscape aspiring for unity and empathy among nations, the notion of animosity directed at specific countries may appear discordant. Nonetheless, it remains a fact that certain nations are subject to less favorable perceptions worldwide, influenced by factors like political choices, past conflicts, or cultural misinterpretations. Here, we present the top 10 most negatively viewed countries in 2024. Number 10, Pakistan. Let's start by discussing Pakistan. Moving westward from India, Pakistan shares some common themes in its narrative of global perception. Frequently in the spotlight for its political instability, economic hurdles, and security challenges, Pakistan's international reputation is intricate. One significant point of contention revolves around allegations of certain groups within Pakistan being involved in global terrorism. This accusation alone significantly stains the nation's reputation abroad, greatly contributing to its inclusion on lists of unpopular countries. Internal societal issues further fuel the disdain it faces. The treatment of women and minority groups, for instance, frequently faces scrutiny. Instances of human rights violations compound these negative perceptions, elucidating why Pakistan grapples with its international standing. Such violations can provoke international backlash, influencing how both allies and adversaries perceive the country. It's also pertinent to consider the diaspora effect. Pakistanis living abroad are at times unfairly stereotyped based on the actions of a few, which in turn affects perceptions within the country. In locations like the UK, specific criminal activities associated with individuals of Pakistani descent have resulted in broader generalizations and negativity toward Pakistan as a whole. Despite these challenges, it's essential to acknowledge the cultural diversity and the genuine warmth exhibited by many Pakistani people, aspects that often go unnoticed amidst the prevailing negative headlines. The country's natural splendor and hospitality frequently take a backseat to the weightier, more somber news it generates. Number 9, India. Renowned for its dynamic culture, varied landscapes, and deep-rooted history, India finds itself under international scrutiny. One significant issue that often thrusts India into the global spotlight, unfortunately in a negative context, is its geopolitical tensions. The strained relationship between India and Pakistan, primarily fueled by long-standing disputes like the one concerning Kashmir, is particularly notable. This discord not only undermines regional stability but also shapes international perceptions of India. Moreover, internal challenges such as social disparities, religious conflicts, and human rights issues contribute to a multifaceted image. For example, prominent global media outlets like BBC and CNN occasionally depict India as grappling with profound problems of poverty and extremism. While this portrayal may not reflect the daily reality for all Indians, it persists and can distort global perspectives. Intriguingly, despite these obstacles, India is not perceived monolithically. It's noteworthy that India's soft power, exemplified by Bollywood and its historical non-alignment stance in global affairs, elicits both admiration and goodwill worldwide. Nonetheless, the juxtaposition of admiration and criticism remains a prevailing theme in comprehending why India might encounter antipathy on various international platforms. Number 8, Israel. If countries were high school students, Israel would be the one everyone's always whispering about. Founded in 1948, right after World War II, this country has been at the center of geopolitical drama more times than most of us can count. But why the fuss? Well, for starters, Israel finds itself in the middle of a region that's had its fair share of tension. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which has roots reaching back to the early 20th century, is a major source of the heat Israel gets. The conflict traces its roots back to the emergence of Zionism and Arab nationalism, sparking prolonged tensions over territory and self-governance. Fast forward to 2023, and the situation remains heated. Reports indicate that Israeli forces have been implicated in actions in Gaza and the West Bank that some international observers deem as war crimes. The term ethnic cleansing even surfaces in discussions, underscoring the severity of the situation. Conversely, groups like Hamas are also accused of committing their own atrocities. It's a convoluted and emotionally distressing cycle of action and reaction. Adding to the complexity, Israel's international airport effectively bars citizens from 22 countries due to restrictions on direct flights and overflights to and from Israel. These include nations like Iran, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia, just to name a few. And if you think that's complex, you need to also know that a whopping 28 UN member states don't even recognize Israel as a country. Number 7. Iran. Iran's political landscape has raised concerns worldwide. The country operates under a theocratic system where the supreme leader wields considerable authority, overshadowing the elected president. This concentration of power has resulted in widespread human rights violations, including arbitrary detentions, unfair trials, and the stifling of free speech. Criticizing the government can land individuals in prison without due process, sometimes leading to confessions extracted under torture. Furthermore, Iran's aggressive foreign policy, which includes support for groups like Hezbollah and Hamas, has drawn criticism for destabilizing the Middle East and straining relations with Western nations. Social issues compound Iran's negative image, with strict penalties for personal choices such as alcohol consumption and same-sex relationships. Women face particularly harsh restrictions, including mandatory hijab wearing, and protests against these laws are met with severe government crackdowns. Number 6. Iraq. Iraq, a nation with a rich historical legacy as the birthplace of civilizations like Babylonian and Assyrian, has faced profound challenges in recent times. Following the US-led invasion in 2003, which ousted Saddam Hussein, Iraq has grappled with instability, terrorism, and political turmoil. The emergence of ISIS in 2014 exacerbated these issues, leading to widespread violence and the displacement of millions. Images of conflict and suffering have tarnished Iraq's global image, perpetuating negative perceptions. Beyond internal strife, Iraq faces criticism for its human rights record, particularly concerning freedom of expression and the treatment of minority groups. These concerns are significant to the global community, which upholds ideals of democracy and human rights. Number 5. Saudi Arabia. In 2022, Saudi Arabia carried out a staggering 196 executions, placing them prominently among nations utilizing capital punishment. However, the origins of these coins in the collection remain a mystery, much like the reasons behind these executions, which can be as nebulous as accusations of witchcraft. The term unfair trials finds resonance here, with numerous reports suggesting coercion of detainees into confessing through torture. This reality starkly contrasts with the image of a nation that annually welcomes millions of peaceful pilgrims. For migrant workers, the situation offers little respite. While they seek better prospects, they often encounter substandard working conditions characterized by prolonged hours, meager pay, and sometimes, a complete disregard for their fundamental human rights. The discourse on freedom of speech, or its absence, deserves attention. Criticizing the government risks severe repercussions, including lengthy imprisonment. Even the realm of social media isn't immune. A single tweet could attract unwelcome scrutiny from authorities. Number 4. North Korea. Life under North Korea's authoritarian rule, spearheaded by Kim Jong-un, is marked by profound hardship. The government's iron grip extends to all facets of life, from media and religion to the private affairs of its citizens. Freedom of expression is virtually non-existent, with any dissent met with severe punishment, including imprisonment or death. Reports from defectors and international organizations paint a grim picture of North Korea's human rights abuses, with horrifying conditions in labor camps where even children endure forced labor, torture, and starvation. The regime tightly controls information flow, isolating its people from the outside world, perpetuating their impoverishment and ignorance. Economically, North Korea faces dire circumstances, with minimal resources allocated to public welfare due to excessive military spending. Nuclear ambitions have invited harsh international sanctions, exacerbating economic woes. Similarly, Iran shares with North Korea a disconnection between government priorities and citizen welfare, resulting in widespread suffering under repressive policies and economic isolation. Number 3. China. China, standing as a colossal presence on the world stage, is entangled in controversy, earning itself the unfortunate title of the most despised nation on earth. Its rapid ascent as an economic juggernaut has been remarkable, yet fraught with a slew of challenges and criticisms. Foremost among these concerns are human rights issues, notably highlighted by the plight of the Uyghur population in Xinjiang, where reports of forced labor and re-education camps have sparked international outrage. Additionally, the imposition of the national security law in Hong Kong has stifled freedoms and autonomy, triggering widespread protests and global condemnation. China's stringent control over information is also notable, exemplified by the sophisticated Great Firewall, which dictates online access and expression for over 1 billion individuals within its borders. Beyond its territorial confines, the Chinese government stands accused of extensive surveillance and espionage activities worldwide. On the diplomatic front, China's assertive stance, particularly evident in the South China Sea, has strained relations with neighboring countries and major powers like the USA. Its adoption of wolf warrior diplomacy, characterized by an aggressive defense of its national interests, has only exacerbated tensions and tarnished its global image. Number 2. United States. The United States, often touted as the land of liberty, nevertheless grapples with its own set of challenges that evoke widespread global discontent. Firstly, there's the perception of the U.S. as a global watchdog, frequently involved in military interventions and political interference across the globe. This proactive stance isn't universally embraced. Then there's the contentious issue of gun ownership, contributing to a disproportionately high rate of gun-related fatalities. This divisive topic not only fractures domestic opinion but also baffles many observers worldwide. Economic inequality is yet another flashpoint, with a widening chasm between the affluent and the impoverished. While tech moguls in Silicon Valley pursue interstellar ambitions, a significant portion of the population struggles to meet basic needs. This glaring wealth chasm underscores the nation's prosperity alongside pervasive disparities. And who could overlook the ongoing cultural clashes? Debates surrounding abortion, gender rights, and racial justice ignite intense disputes. Progress often appears overshadowed by reactionary forces, leading to a perceived regression rather than advancement. Number 1. Russia. Russia, a vast expanse spanning 9 time zones, boasts a rich history and culture. Despite this, its international reputation is deeply tarnished. Why, you might wonder? Let's delve into it. Firstly, Russia's political landscape is overwhelmingly dominated by Vladimir Putin, who has held power seemingly indefinitely. During his tenure, the country has veered sharply towards authoritarianism. The government tightly controls nearly every aspect of life, including the media and political dissent. Independent journalism in Russia is a perilous profession, with significant pressure to toe the official line, particularly on sensitive topics like the conflict in Ukraine or criticism of Putin himself. Moreover, Russia's global standing is consistently negative. Surveys consistently indicate widespread unfavorable views of Russia in numerous countries. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching.